You know those gorgeous milk clouds that form when you pour milk into tea and all these gradient colors come about? That's the design I'll be making with my punch needle rug. I just did something that I'm super excited about, which is ordering a punch needle. For the longest time I couldn't figure out how the yarn stays in the punch needle. After watching some tutorials, I figured out that people spray like a glue adhesive or something on the back to make it stay. My punch needle also did come in the mail, but I don't have the right cloth. I have to figure out if I have a cloth at home that can be good for this or if I have to buy it. I might have something though. Okay, I figured out what punch needle cloth to get. Now my punch needle is actually working. I bought an adjustable punch needle so the length could be different. I made the length of this part of the pen longer, and the trick is to like really not lift the pen from the cloth. I also wanted to try doing punch needle with embroidery floss, which is why I ordered smaller punch needle. This one's actually a lot more versatile than the other one because you can change the length a lot more than you can on the other one. There are 3 different types of thicknesses for the punch needle itself. It even came with an instruction book, which I thought was really helpful because I kept getting confused which way the needle is supposed to face every time you do the punch needle. And it's funny because it actually matches like the little embroidery handbook I have too. So nice consistency there. Oh my god, these pictures are so funny. They say neatness is important. Messy is incorrect. Neat is correct. Hey everyone. Here's a little update on the punch needling. I just took out the frame because the frame is in something else right now. This punch needling is going a lot better and I'm using acrylic yarn right now. I know it says like on the packaging you're not supposed to, but it's working pretty well. Sometimes I do have to hold it on the opposite side while I'm punch needling and that's not ideal, but I'm working on it. I'm getting better. One thing that's stopping me from getting better is like sometimes I go in the wrong direction. So I'm working on that as well, and going in the correct direction prevents the yarn from getting caught in the hole of the punch needle. And this punch needle is so fun. I bought 2 different ones. One is a thicker one that I want to make a rug out of eventually. So I made a design with the fabric pen. I'm definitely learning a lot with this. You can see like my design is way more dainty and then the punch needle ends up being bigger. So I realized I have to make my designs smaller because they will end up bigger than I planned. Mine is really faint on camera, but in person it is more visible and it will even fade after 7 days. I really like this punch needle. Is going really well, like barely any problems. The other one I have to like work on it a little more. Here you can kind of see I did some test punch needling. I made the punch needle longer, shorter, and I actually did it on different sides. So this is the right side for all these colors. But I think I will use this cotton yarn. It works a lot better than these acrylic yarns for some reason. I don't really know. So, and now I'm just gonna remove all of this because I am making a rug. I mean, look at how gorgeous that looks. You know when you get so caught up in wanting to start a new crafting or fiber hobby that you're like, let me buy all these materials to ensure that I can do this hobby the best way possible. That's me right now with punch needling. I'm not at the stage of where I would buy a tuft gun yet, but honestly, really tempted. I definitely want to make a rug and I barely have any punch needle experience, but I'm gonna go all in with this. I think I can do it. I want to use something with tea. I've seen a lot of tufting rugs with clouds on them. I was thinking I really like the cloud motif, but how can I relate that back to my current color palette and general look of the room? I love the clouds that form when you pour milk into tea, and I want to recreate something like that with my punch needle. But with punch needling, you have to keep in mind that it's not like painting where you can blend the colors, which is what would happen if you pour milk into tea. There are going to be harsh lines, so that's like a stylistic choice I'm gonna have to make. Have harsher lines, and I have to figure out what yarn to use because I'm gonna make it ombre. And I don't want to stick with the colors of brown because the point of me adding a rug to my wooden floor is that to brighten up the room. I'm not planning on using traditional tea colors. I think I'll use unconventional tea colors. Like, it might not even look like tea at the end, but I'm okay with that because it's mostly the shapes that I care about. Here is what my drawing looks like so far. It's pretty close to what my digital drawing looks like. I think the hard part about drawing something like this is that you have to make it pretty symmetrical because the size makes our asymmetricalness very visible. So I'm definitely going to measure everything in the cup before I start punch needling, which will be very soon, and I'm very excited.
I can go anywhere in my mind. Close my eyes when I'm dying to see you. Sit back, dream a good time when you were alive.
So I was debating between these two greens, which one to use, but because I also want to incorporate pink, these two go better together, and this will be the outline of the cup. It's day 3 of the project. The reason I didn't really film on day 2 is because I was literally doing like this for hours. Like, I don't know how people are doing punch needles so fast because it's taking me forever. I think part of the reason is because my punch needle, I'm like using a really thick one, so it's kind of hard to get it in the fabric. This is the color I'm using to outline the cup, and so some colors in the past do run color, which means like they leak color once they get wet, and considering this is a rug, it might get wet if I drop water on it, which is very, very likely. So I'm gonna wash these and just delicate, put like the tiniest bit of detergent, and hopefully the color all gets out. I'm gonna put them in mesh bags so they don't get tangled because I have 2 different loops. I'm continuing to do the light green today. Very exciting. I ended up going with slightly different colors, but you'll see which ones I ended up choosing.
Who's that boy over there? No, making eyes, making me stare.
I started punch needling on Tuesday, and I built the frame, I believe, on Monday or Sunday. And now it's Saturday. I thought I could finish this project in a week, but boy was I wrong. I was very, very wrong. Maybe I could do it in 2 weeks. I think I can. So by next Saturday, I think I should be done. The progress was very, 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 very slow. I'm getting much faster now, but I'm just trying to enjoy the process, not so much speed it up. Enjoy the fact that I can listen to audiobooks, watch shows, watch videos while I do this. Here are some of the things I've been streaming while finishing this project. So first I started and finished the book You by Caroline Kepnes, I think her name is. It's the book that the show You is based on with Penn Badgley. The show seems pretty faithful to the book. It was so good. Then that was like, I think, a 9-hour book that I listened to on 1.75 speed mostly. Then I am now reading Eleanor and Park. It has that beautiful cover with the kids with the headphones. I always binge The Take on YouTube. I love learning about so many specific things about Harry Potter, for example. I also watched Looking for Alaska. Do not recommend. It's on Hulu. It's based on the John Green book. Oh, and then I started watching Pen 15 on Hulu. So funny. Definitely recommend. Let's continue with punch needling. I think I've introduced all the colors of the rug at this point. It's very exciting when you add a new color. I've definitely discovered some techniques that work better than others. I also ordered a yarn winder. We'll definitely see that in the intro if I have it. I also needed to buy more yarn because I went into this project not knowing just how much yarn it would take. I'm covering about 7 square inches of rug before I run out of an entire 2.5 ounce ball of yarn. Other than that, let's just keep going. I think one of the questions I get asked the most about these things is, how long does this take you? Or can you just completely turn your mind off when you're doing it? And depending on who the question's coming from, sometimes I mind that question because I'm like, oh my god, why is everyone obsessed with the fact that you can kind of zone out in certain fiber arts, you know, if you plan ahead especially. But with reading knitting patterns that are complicated, for example, or even crocheting patterns, I'm sure you can't exactly tune out. But why is everyone else who doesn't do these things obsessed with asking me, how long does it take you? Oh my god, like, do you get bored? I think if you have different feelings about it based on what the project is. And the answer to that is sometimes yes, you can zone out, which is why I am happy to be streaming and doing things while I can punch needle, but that's also because I pre-planned the design, you know, and I drew it on there. So I already have all like the most of the thinking part done. But if you tune out a little bit too much, what can happen is what happened to me with the Jade Mist color, the medium green color. I started punch needling that in a place where the pink was supposed to be, but I didn't want to undo it all because it was done in a way where I'd have to undo like so much of it or cut out a lot of it, and it didn't look bad, so I decided to go with the flow and compromise.
Anyway, this update from under the carpet. So I think stop.
You see how zoomed in?
You leaned in closer, I should have kissed you. Your hair was longer, I pulled away from it. Moved to the city, over the Thames and bridge. You like the colors, can't see anything.
It's Friday, the day I hope to be done with the entire punch needling part of the rug, not the finishing parts, but I actually am pretty close to being done with all the colors. Just a few small sections are not done because I don't have enough yarn for them. I ordered the yarn, I'm just waiting for it to come in the mail. I said earlier that now all the colors are already on the rugs that are meant to be there, like all 4 colors. But I was wrong because I forgot to mention that the outline of the cup of the rug is going to be blue, because if you think about glass, it's like based on this mason jar I always use. Here's a picture. If you think about glass, it can sometimes be bluish, which is why I went with a bluish color for the outline of the jar. And I was still confused on what I was going to do for the top of the jar because I hadn't planned it out, and I think I didn't realize when I was drawing it about what color it would be. But I realized that there's some parts I need to accentuate, but I still want to keep it blue. So the parts I need to accentuate and outline, I'm going to do in Sugar and Cream Ecru, which is like probably my #1 most used yarn ever. I'm so close to finishing. I just have to wait now until the yarn comes in the mail, but I actually did a lot, and in the beginning I was doing it like way too densely to the point where I think it didn't look good anymore. But over like time I realized that I didn't need to do it so densely, and different people have different preferences. Like my brother was punch needling some of it, and that's just proof that anyone can do it. I basically gave him 2 minutes of instruction and then he was able to do it too. He was saying I should punch needle it looser because he liked the look of the looser loops better than the tighter loops, and then when I was comparing them, the looser loops like did look better in my opinion, but it's all up to your preference of how loose or tight you want to do it. Yeah, we're coming to a close end with this project and it's looking like very good. Like you're kind of able to tell what it is. If you know me, you'd like know what this is, you know. Even if you don't know what it is, I think it still looks pretty sick because I like these abstract type of shapes and loops. When I was in in-person classes all like my life, I've always been like doodling in classes, and I'd always love to do these shapes that like flow from one to the next. So this is a very fitting project for me. This is a very fitting rug design for me. Hey, so it's Monday. I know I said I would finish the bulk of the project on Friday, but you know, life happens. I realized that when you pour milk in tea, it doesn't go on the outside of the cup, so I just have to recolor that little bit. And I'm done with it. I'm not done with everything. I'm done with it as far as I can go at the moment, because I'm waiting for the rest of the colors to arrive in the mail, which is still like just a small part of the project left, and then the finishing, which I always underestimate how long that takes. So I'm gonna estimate that's gonna take a day this time, not including drying the glue on the back. Just kidding. Some of the yarn is here, some of it is not. So let's just work with what we have right now. I have one bottle of glue left. Let's just hope that I can make it without having to go to buy more supplies yet again. So pretty much as you can see, this is almost done. All I have left is this section here that's gonna be pink, and then I'm gonna have to go back and trim all these pieces hanging out and then do all the finishing. I've glued most of the back, but just a little piece left, and let's go. I've been watching On the Block.
I'm done. And all this FaceTime needs some alone time, baby. You're always running in my mind. I'm sick of daydreaming. I just want the feeling of you in my bed.
Just finished trimming all the little extra pieces. All I have to do is finish up the ends of the rug by creating like that looped effect on the side, and it doesn't show that much, but I know that without it the rug wouldn't have as nice of a finished look. But it's weird because like you can't see it, but you can feel that it's there, but in the odd times that you will see the corner, I'll know that my work has paid off from putting the extra little effort at the end. And it's not a little bit of effort, it is a long time. Like when Curry Goat said this is the longest part of the process, he was not lying, and that's why I'm here a week later still working on that part. And this is how I look when I'm filming in my extremely dirty mirror. It took me 13 days to finish my project in its entirety. If I were to do this again and use it as a rug for sitting and not a wall hanging just for decoration, for example, I would definitely not use 100% cotton yarn. This yarn instantly deflated and became matted when I applied any sort of pressure on it. For the white milk portion, I used an acrylic yarn that worked a lot better for me in terms of retaining its bounce and volume. Other than my material mishap, I really love this rug. I think the colors are great. I think the design is great. I think the execution is pretty great overall. I'm happy that I have a place to sit with some cushioning on my floor now. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and I use these electric like shears, hair cutting shears or something. Yeah, I use these to sort of like trim out the acrylic part. The cotton yarn, get the caught in this. Like, you can't use this on that yarn, but for the acrylic yarn you can, because the top gets trimmed and it just like becomes like a fluffy mush at the end. And that is now it. So thank you so much for watching and see you next time.